France is the latest country in Europe that's begun lifting its coronavirus lockdown, with millions returning to work after 8 weeks of restrictions. Construction sites, factories and non-essential retail stores have reopened, but it's raising fears of a second wave of infections in a country where more than 26,000 people have died from COVID-19. But President Emmanuel Macron's administration says its priority is to keep a lid on the economic pain.
We're living through a recession which is very brutal, the consequences of which in terms of employment and business bankruptcies may be very heavy for France in the months ahead. So we cannot afford to have an economy which is at a standstill or to have an economy which slows down for months on end.
Well, like France, Germany, Belgium and the Netherlands are also easing restrictions on businesses and social gatherings. Many of Europe's economies have been hit hard by the pandemic. And as Tayyibe Aydin reports, despite all their efforts to reopen, many businesses may not survive the outbreak.
Delphine Morangi is preparing to welcome customers to her jewellery store in Bordeaux, France, for the first time in more than 2 months. And she's taking all the precautions she can against the coronavirus.
It's going to be hydroalcoholic hand gel at the entrance and distribution of masks. I bought enough to be able to distribute it to the customers, and hand gel at the exit when they're leaving.
Morangi is also the president of a local trade union which is distributing disinfectants, gloves and masks to all the shopkeepers in the area.
One person per shop. Hydroalcoholic gel for the person who comes in. Visors for us. The gloves, the gel. The customers don't touch any of the goods. We're the ones who serve them. And we disinfect everything again once they leave.
We'll see. We'll change things as we go along, hoping that there won't be a reconfinement following another wave. That would be extremely bad for many traders.
In France, hair salons, clothing stores, florists and bookshops are allowed to resume business from Monday. Belgium, Italy and the Netherlands are also letting their retailers get back to work, while Austria, Germany, Greece and Spain already made similar concessions last week. Restaurants and bars in some countries will also reopen over the next few days, but they'll have to limit the number of people they serve to less than half of their capacity. But restaurant owners fear many people won't dine out as often due to fear of the virus. Some are taking steps to create a safe dining area for customers. This art museum in Amsterdam is repurposing greenhouses it had used to showcase exhibits to seat its cafe's patrons.
The greenhouses are so small that the serving staff would not even fit inside. So they hand it from the outside, they don't enter, they wear protective gear in front of their face, so no accidents can happen, no accidental exchanges.
Others like Dario Triscari, who runs a restaurant in Milan, are spending on different solutions, hoping to stay in business.
Plexiglass dividers are the only way to survive. Many restaurants are closing. We don't want to give up. We want to react.
While restaurants can try to help prevent the spread of the virus, they can't do much to offset its economic impact. And with most European economies expected to shrink sharply this year, business is unlikely to boom for many retailers, even after lockdowns are lifted. Tayyibe Aydin, TRT World.
Well, for more, let's go to Fabian Zuleeg in Brussels. He's Chief Executive and Chief Economist at the European Policy Centre. Welcome to Money Talks, Fabian. Now, just on the French example there, the government has been very open about the need to get the economy back on track, using that to justify its easing of its lockdown. Do you think France is ready for it?
Clearly, there is a need to get the economies back to work. There's a real difficulty with the length of the lockdown. The longer it goes on, the more difficult it will become, the more liabilities businesses are accumulating. But the problem is that health has to come first. If there's any recurrence of the virus, if there's a second wave, then the economic damage will be even bigger. So what we are seeing now are attempts at opening slowly, making sure that there is monitoring, there's testing, so as to be able to also react in case things start to go in the wrong direction, as potentially we've seen in Germany, for example.
Yes, I'd like to ask you about the German example, because it's been hailed as one of the success stories in keeping the infection rate low. But German Chancellor Angela Merkel has come under a lot of pressure from the leaders of various German states to reopen the economy, and she's done so under that pressure. We're now seeing the rate of infection accelerate since Germany began reopening last week. Do you think perhaps the country needs to rethink the easing of those restrictions?
Yes, I think what we have seen is exactly this pressure to get the economy back working, in particular for many German businesses. The loss from not being able to export, from not being able to open up, has been quite severe. But we have seen this increase in the reinfection rate. At the moment, this is a slight increase. But if it is continuing, I'm sure that it will also be leading to a reintroduction of some restrictions.